thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome back to Thailand InsurTech Fair. And in this session, we will take you to meet our technological experts and InsurTech. Now, in this session, our topic is also very interesting. So let me introduce myself. I am Kamolwan Thaveekittikul. I am an SVP from Muang Thai Life Insurance. And I am honored to be here in this session. And the topic is harnessing the power of health tech to bolster insurance industry. Oh, sorry, the name in Thai language is very long. So without further ado, can I go to our panelists for this session? Let me start with the first question for our panelists. I have to pass for the first question. First is the why and second is how. For why, I would like to know why both of you think or believe that technology can help us harnessing the power for the health tech and insurance industry, and how can we help the insurance company to apply the technology to the health insurance. Anyone, can you go first? All right, so let me go first, but I will need to give you some background. Health tech is very important since from the beginning, and it came from one of the biggest pain points even since before COVID. 10 years ago, the whole world started to see the danger from health issues because it affects the whole public health systems around the world, and that includes aging society and changing consumer behavior that caused NCDs or non-communication disease like diabetes and coronary heart diseases. Even since people are very young, it became one of the biggest burden for the public health system, and there was a projection that in the next decade the whole world will not have enough budget to take care of their own population, and that became a time bomb for the whole world, and the whole world has been looking for the solution. Hence the technology has become very important because the technology itself, it allows us to provide better public health or medical services with better efficiency. For example, with telemedicine, it allows people to gain access to the public health services without leaving their homes, or especially when you are in a remote area. And with AI, we can upscale the services from 10 years to train the doctor before the doctor could actually help the patient. With AI, it takes much shorter in order to offer such service, especially some health services to general public. So there's another issue about scalability, because one doctor might be able to take care of 30 to 50 patients max per day. But the technology such as AI and these services, it allows us to serve a large amount of people. For example, like X-ray, like COVID case, we used AI to help us detect and assess the patient. It allows us to go through thousands of X-ray films, and it wouldn't be possible with doctors. And overall, it actually helped improving the efficiency and reduce the overall cost for the public health services. And that is why health tech become a very important driver for health industry and also public health sector. And with COVID in the past 2 years, we could see very clearly that technology has become very important. It played a very important role in helping us dealing with this crisis, including with the available services. You can just plug in the technology or even introducing new technologies. Like in the past, telemedicine wasn't widely accepted, and maybe the regulators didn't allow us to do telemedicine at a full scale. But after the crisis, telemedicine has been adopted very quickly, and things like AI or mRNA with the technology that we use to develop the vaccine, they have been accelerated. The whole processes have been accelerated. And when you think about insurance, actually, it is ancillary service that allow us to create other services. And the key resource is actually the same. It is data, because all these technological and technology services, it came with a large amounts of data, and to the point where we have never seen before, and it haven't been tapped before. And if an insurance company could use this data to help us drive the products and maybe even cost or service delivery beyond the existing business model, this will be a new blue ocean that allow us to tap into new service that allow insurance business or industry to make faster progress. That can be done with technology. That is the why for my first answer. Oh, may I add a few things, because I also agree with you. You have covered most of my answers actually, but let me summarize quickly what Jack just said. It was about accessibility and affordability. It allows people to gain access affordable services. So there are two accesses, but there's another aspect which is also very important for healthcare services, which is the quality. The quality aspect is very important. Today you might have accessibility and affordability. Yes, you can get to see the doctor at a good price, but sometimes we don't get the result we expect. And that's why quality is important. And technology, can it replace with human nurse or doctors? No, it cannot fully replace the doctor. It cannot fully replace human, because healthcare is like insurance. It is still pretty much high-touch industry. And the fact that we use technology, it is only a part that assists the main service. It is on the top of the existing service and allow us to do better at what we do. In the past, even today, when you see the doctor, normally you feel sick and you have to drive to the doctor clinic or the hospitals. You need to make appointment, and sometimes if you need to go to a famous doctor, you might have to wait quite a long time before you can get to meet the doctor. However, telemedicine could reduce a lot of friction in this process, because at the moment, you don't really need to drive to the doctor every time, like those kind of NCD diseases. If you have diabetes, normally you need to meet your doctors every 3 months based on the standard recommendation to check your sugar level, right? To see whether if the medicine is working or not, or if you have to change any of your behavior after the treatment has started. But we don't know about the actual behavior. And people tend to be, hey, I have no symptom, I don't want to make appointment, I hate driving, for example. And that's why people don't really meet the doctors. And we heard this a lot from our consumers. Every 6 months is already a lot. Maybe once a year for DB patient, just like HealthTech. But I just happen to have DB too. But normally you have to go to see the doctor every trimester in order to see whether if there's any change or progress in your disease. So rather than the doctor telling the patient to see the doctor every 3 months, we can apply something like clinicians or pharmacists that allow us to get blood sample and can help us detect HbA1c. And the doctor could read the result from telemedicine systems. This will be a big win-win for the doctor and the patient and even the insurance, because the insurance company would love to see the patient's data, right? Like Jack said, there are so many data, and these data are very important. At Muang Thai Prakan Chivit, we used to join OIC Sandbox in DB2 product, a very special product that we want to offer this product to our patient, and we hope that the patient could check their own health and we could get the HbA1c, and we could use those value to reduce their premium. So the lower the HbA1c value, the lower your premium. So maybe when we talk about accessibility from now on, it might not be just about healthcare, but it allows you to get a better, accessible and more affordable premium for the insurance and a more customized version of insurance. And that is where we see the connection between all of this. If you ask me about the telemedicine, it is not just those services. I mean, today we have another keyword where we as you know, technology is making a lot of progresses at an exponential rate. 10 years ago, we had the first mobile phone. We used to play, that snake game on Nokia phone, right? Have you tried? Oh, 20 I'm sorry, not just 10. Is it that old? 20 years ago. All right. So last 10 years, we had the first iPhone. Actually, it's 15 years. And we just had a conversation in the past. Like, we don't even need a camera anymore. We just used our tiny phones. It doesn't matter what brand. And the result looks professional, right? So following the same trend, when you look at the health tech, we have what we call DT text, digital therapeutic. You can use your phone to see the doctor, but if you ask me whether if we can measure like the vital sign to allow the doctor to see our value in real time, it is quite a struggle in this case because it has to be approved as a standard process, right? And maybe we can have the pressure or maybe the blood sugar tester. That's the best we can today, but from now on, we can have some digital therapeutic that could feed live real-time information to the doctor where it can be connected and allow the doctor to see our vital signs. And if these tools are approved by FDA, it will be recognized. And once it's recognized, the insurance will become more interesting because once these things are a new norm, we will be more or very confident that, okay, there's standard and there's accuracy and it's good enough to help us to go through the data. It's not just for telemedicine, and that's what we see. And so that's the what and the how for health and insurance for me. Wow, that's a very good answer. Thank you, both of you. And I believe that you have learned a lot more about health tech and how it connects with other industry. Why health tech is very important. It helps you reduce the cost and allow us better accessibility to public health services. More importantly, data will be very important for the insurance companies too. And you can make the most use of data among our stakeholders here. But let me jump to the next question. Maybe can I start with Mr. Juk? Juk, can I ask you about health tech? For health tech in Thailand, how much progress do we see in health tech in Thailand comparing with other countries? We have to admit that there's a very broad spectrum of health tech. There's a lots of technologies and services, starting from the treatment, like processes, like medical processes, hospitals processes, to self-care, to monitoring, to rehabilitation, even wellness. Wellness is also part of your healthcare, even resting, exercise, and diet. Oh, you are trying to say that it is not just about when you see the doctor, right? It's everything. It's your lifestyle. It's the total wellness from preventive to therapeutic, right? Yes, that's right. But when you compare with other countries, we can see that our strength for Thailand is hospitality and service, but we are not strong in terms of tech, right? Or R&D, like heavy R&D, like pharmaceutical development or new treatments. In Thailand, we could see a lot more tech services like software services and other kind of services. And yes, there are some hardware things, but most of the cases it's just software plus service. And these service innovations, yes, they are very important because it's closer to our consumer. For example, like PHR or personal health record. Data is very important, yes. For health record, we need to have the record. But the therapy alone is not good enough. Going to the doctor alone is not enough. Imagine people who are seeing the doctor. In the end, they have to go back home and take the medicines by themselves, and they need to improve their lifestyles and fix their health in order to become healthy. That's another part where I believe that technology can help us close the gap. Like Nadia said, we have so many good devices. In the past, those sensors for your vital signs might be only limited to the hospital, but today you can do that in your home, like blood pressure and pulse and even ultrasound. And in the near future, I believe that there's a better device that allows you to connect those devices with your phone and allows you to do so many things that allows you to improve your health from your home. And that is where Thailand is quite strong actually. And based on our public health infrastructure, we are pretty good actually. We used to win like top 10 world's best services, and our universal healthcare cover 98% of the people in our country. Let's say that 98% of people could get the service without paying a single dime. But imagine what we saw in COVID. Telemedicine became very important for home isolation and even hospital. And everybody could see that very clearly. And AI, for example, it allows you to go through the lung x-ray very quickly. We actually did that in Thailand, homegrown, and it was very good. But for these techs, the most important part is after you have started in COVID, I believe that we should continue to develop these technologies, and we can add it to maybe our country's strategies. For example, we can turn it into medical tourism sector, or maybe we can use it as a key driver for economic driver. Maybe we can use it in collaboration with the human resource, or to be hard tech, like from lung x-ray, maybe we could x-ray other parts, like maybe you can scan the retina for GB2, for example. I believe that the COVID has become a very good accelerator for tech developments, but we will see that in Thailand, you will find a lot of new services in the near future. You will gain better access from your home, and there will be a lot more insurance products after things has been approved from the regulators. Because we have tested, actually, it has been proven by itself that it can be used. Oh, Nadia, would you like to add anything on the top of his answer? I strongly agree with what he said. Like you just said, things change exponentially. It has already started and there are rooms to grow. But I would like to say that just, comparing with COVID, during COVID, we saw how challenging things were, but we saw so many opportunities at the same time. It is an accelerator. It's an accelerator for digital adoption in a way that we have never imagined. There are so many industries who, wow, they transform themselves within just a couple of years, or sometimes even a few months when COVID kicked in. I mean, in a good way and a bad way, but we could see that in terms of healthcare, actually there are many opportunities. It allows people to gain more access to the service. And like Juk said, at the beginning, when we apply AI and apply it to many things, as he mentioned, today we still see that people are still clustering in certain sector. There's nothing wrong with that, but things are following demand and supply. So we have to think about that. Imagine doctors and nurses supply in Thailand is not enough. We don't have enough doctors and nurses because we have a lot of population, and we are now maybe number 7 or number 8 as aging society. We are one of the top in the world. But if you ask me, our infrastructure is not that ready. So technology allows us to be able to help our people. Today we know that accessibility might not be very good, but with technology it allows us to gain better service and cares. So that's one thing that I could see for Thailand. Maybe I can add a few more things for Thailand. For COVID, we could see that health literacy and digital literacy for Thai people has much accelerated because of Thai people's behavior. Thailand, we wore masks since from the beginning, and people were well aware of their own hygiene and social distancing. I saw people who wore masks but no helmet. It was so surprising. Hey, you were afraid of COVID, but you were not afraid of dying because of concussion. But this is a very important factor because we have been trying so hard for health literacy in the past. But it came with digital literacy. Like people start using application like more prompt application during COVID. But these two were the most important tools to help us push for health tech actually. Because if our people has better health literacy and people change their behavior, and if they could change their personal health behavior plus digital literacy, so if they could use more tools and better tools, like the same way that you use for TikTok, for example, it's the same tool, but if you can use that for your health sake, it will unlock a lot of potential. And actually we have done well much better than so many other countries in the world. Wow, I love your example. I was thinking about myself, yes, people were so afraid of dying because of COVID rather than dying because of a crash. And that leads me to the next question. Like you said, sir, when COVID-19 came in, things changed at an exponential rate, including health and digital literacies. Now the question becomes, Thai people started to be aware about their health. So maybe I can start with Nadia. Once Thai people care more about their health and even health insurance, as an insurance company, how do you design your product and sales channel to meet the customer's demand? We talked briefly about the product previously in terms of insurance. We need to change the technology. You know, for insurance, when you see, let's say, the old-fashioned health products, people complain that, hey, I could not get the reimbursed, things were slow, because people always complain about the conditions, right, in the health insurance. And today, it's not just Thailand. We started to unlock these conditions to allow people to gain better access, to make the insurance better, well comprehensive, like the comprehensive care or comprehensive insurance. Like we don't care how many operations you need, how many doctors you need to see. It is the total sum assured. That's the kind of protection people used to. But on the other hand, we need to incorporate some more things. Like we need to incorporate things like, what's the word for that? You know, we need to incorporate life stages. For example, in Thailand, we are getting into aging society. So for protection, when you think about health protection, you might only think about good health and bad health, for example. But what about elder? Elders has more than that. They have extra needs, not just being healthy. They might need some long-term care requirement. It's not just acute care or acute illness care, but they have other needs. They need to get access to maybe caring services or carers or certain facilities that required for their life stage. I think this is something that, you know, we need to think about that in terms of service and technology. It's like we need to educate each other. I can think about an example. Let's say we need to be slightly forward-looking, and we are investing in one of the startups. I would say it sounds a bit too far-fetched, but it is a good example. But the clinical trial has already been gone live, so it's not in vitro anymore. So for these startups, we know that people will live much longer, but many parts of our organs can be replaced. Actually, your internal organ could be replaced rather than, you know, letting them go down or continue to live with bad organs. Things will change, and that will enhance human longevity. And this company called FB Bone, it is a US company, but the founder was actually a Thai person. And this company, what they do, I mean, they could grow bones from your bone marrow, from your tissue. Actually, they could grow bone and bone marrow from your own fat and protein tissues. So what they can do now means that it will change how we replace our internal parts. It will not be titanium bone anymore. It will be your own bone, lab grown. So if you ask me, does the insurance cover this new technology? It will be interesting. It might sound a bit far-fetched, but it's coming. The clinical trial is already being conducted in human. They are in the stage where we get approval. So we find that an opportunity for insurance. The insurance should be able to foresee such opportunity from this new technology. Would it be good if, as a customer, could gain access to this kind of service? And actually, that's part of the protection, right? This is an interesting example. Sometimes it sounds like two different worlds, right? It sounds a bit too far-fetched, but actually it is connected and it is actually very close. Wow, that's very interesting. It sounds very advanced, ma'am. So I believe that it's very interesting now. So let me jump to the next question then. Kun Jack, can you give me some case study from overseas if there's any successful health tech that we should replicate in Thailand, do you have any interesting example for our audience today? Actually, I want to continue based on what I said. With technologies and health tech, we gain a lots of health data, the amount never seen before. We normally see the data only available in the hospitals, but once there are new services like health tech, self-care services, and even health devices, it allows us to get more data from the patient, and the insurer could really use that. Many successful cases in this world, I cannot tell you which brand, but there was one of the big brand, but they want to do the data-driven insurance, and they put together all of these data to offer new service and to provide a more personalized service, I would say, and even adaptive, not just one size fits all anymore. Like Ping An, for example. Ping An is the second biggest insurance company in the world. Ping An has their own telemedicine systems, and they have their healthcare and digital services. They could even capture a lot of data from their people and their customers, and they can use that in their insurance business. And they have been quite successful with that. Or there's another startup called FitSense from Australia, and they have launched their business in the UK as well. They are a fitness platform that put together the fitness centers to use their tools, plus the end users. I mean, all of them could use this application to record how people take care of their health and exercise, and they actually give away some incentives to gain data from the consumer, and they use these data to work with insurance to provide a more personalized service to each individual. It is truly adaptive and real time. It is based on the actual data that they got feed from the platform. This is one of the use case for data, but in the future there will be plenty more technologies that insurers can use this data and the result you get from new tech to do your business. It can be a new blue ocean for insurance company. For example, you have never provide insurance for people like who has pre-diabetics, for example, or early stage of some genetic disease, even though we know that they have risk. But if the data is proven that they could maintain good health, they have achieved very good KPI score for their health, why not we insure them, right? And they know that they don't want to get sick, and they want to get sick. They don't want to get sick because they could maintain their premium price, right? Or even before, they have never been insured because of their health condition. Now they could. That is the future. The world is now trying to move towards that direction. You know, it is partly about bias and disparity. You know, the old-fashioned health insurance was like old-fashioned bank. Bank will give loan to people who has good credit, you know. We used to joke that they will take their umbrella back when the rain is falling. Just like that, but we want to change that. We see this as an opportunity. And this is a very good example from the health tech. And I could see that it should be the way to go for insurance business. We need to change the whole mindset thing, you know. For health insurance, we are not insuring the health, we are insuring the illness, right? You get paid only when you get sick, not when you get good health. So the point is, the insurance is paying for you when you go to the doctor. But why don't we do something different? Why shouldn't we hedge for health, right? Don't wait until they are getting sick. We insure them to make sure that they don't get sick, right? But if there's an accident, yes, you can support them in that incident. But the cost will be much cheaper because it is prevention, not treatment. Wow, that is very interesting. I like what you say that it is, you need to change the mindset. So you are not insuring against the sickness. You want to help improving the whole well-being for a person. I have a clarifying question. Like Nadia said, these two things might a bit far-fetched, but imagine if a person who in the past, I might have some pre-existing condition, maybe pre-disease that the insurance doesn't want to insure that person. But if they have good track record, good behavior, a very healthy behavior that we could prove through your tracking device, maybe that could make insurance a bit more flexible and insure this person. Yes, that is still an uncharted area for health insurance, because maybe we could explore that. We know that people would like to take good care of themselves, and if they fits with the condition, why not? And we could see more individualized data, especially healthcare related data. So why don't we offer a customized service to allow them to gain access to our service?
I would like to add that actually it's boiled down to the understanding of data. So we have a lot of medical journals. As time changes, the quality of information would improve naturally, as well as the precision and accuracy of the tests on biological data too. Like diabetes, for example, nowadays maybe it's not under the coverage of the insurance policy because it leads to so many NCDs. Because once diabetes deteriorates, it will lead to other severe symptoms with the eyes, with the heart, and also with the brain. And in the old days, everyone lived through this. Of course, there would be something like you have to cut off your organs if the infection become chronic. So now medicine this day, we have improved a lot, and there's no capitation needed. So now we have the remedy that we can check and can forecast the signs of the disease. And if you have the H1C test, you'll see that you can minimize the risk of the CVD, the vascular disease, by how many percent, and also the chance that you can reduce the risk for the diabetes also decrease as well. So that would give you the health range that is acceptable. So it should reflect the payment or the premium that you have to pay for your coverage policy. So this is what we can do to the insurance world. So actually this is very hopeful for the NCD's patients that they may be able to get the insurance policies too. And now we have one question left with 5 minutes. So let's ask Nadia first. For the insurance policy companies that would like to use HealthTech, are there any concerns? And Nadia said that actually it's familiar concept to everyone, I think. It's about data because health data is always sensitive. It's ultimately personal data. So if you want to use it in your operations, the quality of technology has to be there, and also the legitimacy to make sure that we meet all the clinical standards. And also, in terms of the storage, we don't want to have any discrimination issues. So the data access on the health data is not about discrimination, but it's about the calculation of the right pricing structure. So we need to get everything cleared on the importance and the objective of the use of data. We don't want to share all data in our perspective. It should be based on necessity to see what is the vital markers for the calculation and also for the risk calculation too. Also to make sure that you have standardized storage and you ensure transparency as well as to communicate all you do to the consumers so that they would understand correctly on what you are doing with their data. And also to get clarification on the technology and platform, what needs to be shared and what not. And the moderator said that it's quite new, especially for Thai people, because everyone would fear a little bit, and they would not reveal the medical history because they don't want to be denied of getting the policy coverage. But Nadia is saying that we don't have to tell them everything, only the necessary information. And also, if you clarify your medical history, then the insurance company can provide you with the right package. It's not like the same old belief anymore. And Nadia said that it is about communication and the benefit that you deserve or what you should get. So if we can clarify that, then we can gain trust more in the system. So another panelist said that now for the health insurance is more than just giving the payout once there's a claim case, but we can provide them with the preventive measures. We want people to be healthy because healthy can be beneficial both to the insured person and also the insurance company. We don't want you to get sick and then we pay out the premium, but we want to spend the money to provide you with a good health so that you can be saved from operation, and we can be saved from operation costs too. And the moderator said that thank you for giving us the simple and beautiful conclusion. Due to the limited time, now we need to come to a conclusion. Thank you very much for both panelists for this session, for your valuable time and valuable information. Thank you.